Here with Grandma.
Yep.
So what we were just talking about what kind of potatoes you should use.
Now the ones that make them a lot say, well, one says you have to use white, and one says red is okay. But Audrey Gustafson says you have to use white.
Okay.
She makes lots of lessons.
Okay.
Like that.
Then what do we need? What do we need? What do we need next?
Oh, we're gonna peel these potatoes and cook them and then rice them and cool them off. But what here? I think what we put in them, but we put butter and some put butter and some put cream. And, I use condensed milk and a little bit of butter. Let that cool and then mix it with flour. Not a lot of flour, just enough to make it a good feeling dough. And I guess sometimes they say you have to learn those things, the feel of things, but it isn't going to make or break it. It's going to be left side. It's a little bit thicker or a bit thinner, but it's still going to be left, so it isn't going to make or break it.
Okay. Okay, we'll get the stuff out then.
Okay.
So you probably peeled a few potatoes in your life too.
Yeah. But maybe your mother probably ended up peeling a lot of them. But yeah, I guess you'd say that back home before we were married, we were a big family. But first, by the time I was big enough to peel potatoes, the three oldest of the girls were married and gone. Well, they weren't married, so two of them were teaching and they were away from home. I will say there are differences in potatoes too. Olga Griffith makes a lot of that stuff. One day she said, she asked me what kind of potatoes I used, and we were talking about it. So the last potatoes I had were white, but they were so watery. So I guess it can depend on the year with potatoes too, I guess. So if you get into an area where they fertilize heavily, and I suppose they all do now, but potatoes can turn kind of dark when they stand too. Can't blame it all on the Lefse, because sometimes you have to have something else to blame, so you blame the potatoes.
Yeah.
Just like with Divinity Candy, they blame the weather. It's humid why it doesn't work.
So do you eat potatoes with most of your meals at home then? On the farm?
Yeah, and then it's well, Clover enjoyed hot dishes, but we didn't use pasta like they do now. You had macaroni for goulash, and that was like we used a lot of rice. But well, we didn't as much. I'm trying to think if we used to store potatoes in the bin. We did. We did when the kids were small. We used to store them in the basement in the bin. But when I was a kid, I don't remember how big a patch we had, but we had a triple box, grain box, and of course those aren't as big as the wagons now. But we'd bring that up to the house and then go to the basement window at Al's, where Al's are in their pantry. That window there went directly to the steps, and so then they'd unload them there. Some people had little chutes, but they roll them down and bore the metal chute and have them be able to get them right down to the basement. But there too, we really must use potatoes. There's an outside cellar, and had a V roof on it, and the roof came right down to the ground because that was to make it clean. So it wouldn't freeze. But we used to fill that with potatoes, and then we wouldn't open that till spring. And we always had enough potatoes in the basement till spring, and then when it got so it wouldn't freeze anymore, then we open that. We always thought the potatoes there tasted so much better. And I suppose what happened was that they got chilled enough that now we just thought it made the potatoes better, but now you hear that when they get chilled it turns the starch into sugar.
Oh yeah.
That's what we have sweeter. But we didn't, at my home, we didn't make lefse. We didn't start making lefse until Clover did.
There's a towel. Towel do you look for knife?
For a paring knife.
There's some knives up there in the.
Okay.
Yep, under the bags. Yeah, I was wondering how long you'd been making it.
What are you going to do, Andrina?
Just watching.
You're going to watch, huh?
I got some nail polish.
Oh, now you're so pretty you can't mess around with stuff, huh? Is that right?
Yeah.
Can you mess around with food now when you got your fingernails so pretty?
No.
Well, that won't hurt the fingers, huh?
I don't even want to wait till Christmas.
Oh. It used to be you had to wait till Christmas for Lefse, didn't it?
Well, making some. So, don't have to when we bake. So we can make some whenever we want to with lamb.
That's right, all of these things we can make whenever we want to. We just kind of get into a pattern.
Wow.
Forget about it, don't we?
So we gotta go fast. Good.
So that we can have some to eat, huh?
Yep.
On the bottom of this up or something. Feels better when you're working.
So how long have you been making lefse?
Oh, let's see. What place were we living on when we started making them? I go by that. We didn't make it when we lived by Emerson. It was, I suppose it probably started in the early 60s. I'm trying to think. We made it when we lived on Bates or not. After Leroy's. Maybe I went to, we made it at Clover's mother's, Grandma Maddie's, when we first started making it.
Mm-hmm.
So I suppose, let's say, in the late 50s, I suppose, so.
Mm-hmm.
Right around the 60s.
Mm-hmm. So the Grandma Maddie made it?
No, she didn't make
She
it.
didn't make it?
She hadn't made a lot of it, no.
Okay.
The Christensens weren't raised with it.
Yeah.
And I wonder if, when Leroy married Rosella, he didn't kind of come with the idea that we had to make less. I wonder if that didn't where that come from.
Okay.
But I always said that we had to eat it in the dark because it didn't look like less than when I started. The kids never complained. They just were anxious for it. Because remember Mrs. Tommy Broughton, Mabel? Not Mabel, Mildred.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hers were so perfectly round and it is so perfect. Well, then after, she and I worked at the home together. One time we were talking about lefse making and, she says, I take a kettle cover big enough and then I cut around it, so that's why they're perfectly round. And after all these years, and she was my idol. I made lefse like she. Then she ended up doing it that way.
Uh-huh.
Different ways to skin a cat. Right there.
That's okay, I just have this one.
But you've been making lefse and all too for since. You didn't make it in Norway, did they?
No, we bought different kinds. We didn't have any, I don't think I ever ate potato lefse there though. And they call it all lefse, but there's some that's, it comes in a packet, you buy it hard and dry, and then you dip it in water, and then it softens up. And then it kind of has the same consistency, but I don't think it has any potatoes, I think it's just flour and other stuff. And I think it was dry originally so it could be stored easier.
The Carl Ludwig family, Grace Brown and Paul Griffith, talk about that lefse too, that they had that, their mother made that, and that was special for Christmas Eve. The other lefse they had in the ways, but that was special.
They had other kinds, I mean there were some thicker kinds too, they were almost more of a, like a pancake or something. A little bit breadier like that.
Did you roll that up to then, or did they?
No, they usually like put butter and sugar between the two, like two pieces, and cut it in wedges, kind of like a pie. And
Vidgus is, she's from Norway, married Jeffrey Efrenson.
mm-hmm.
And at first, Wesley said that no, they don't have Lefse or Budapest, but this last year, somebody's, I wonder if it was Wesley or Janice that said that she does make a Lefse, but it was different.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't, you know, it says to come over and, you know, how it is, you don't get started, you don't get going.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to go over to Jeffrey's because they're into raising Enos.
Raising what?
Enos?
Huh.
It's off the ostrich family.
Okay, yeah.
And I said, well, how in the world did you ever get into that? And he said, well, hog prices went so bad, and started reading up on it, and it seemed to be interesting. They're terribly expensive birds, but I guess if you once get into it, it's a good thing. But they sell the eggs, and well, I think, what did he say? They're expected to lay 30 eggs a year, but they don't start laying eggs till November, so you won't have a production from them till next year.
Uh-huh.
He and his brother-in-law have 13 birds together.
Huh.
And I am going to go out there and see them.
Yeah.
Something new for, I was going to say for South Dakota, but you see now when you know this, there's a, coming into town, there's a sign that says Ostrich Farm.
Yeah, there's one outside of the city, so yeah.
And this is in the same
Yep.
same field, I guess.
Yep.
They're raised for the same purposes.
Yep.
Thanks, Roy.
So you rinsed them off in the kettle then, just to clean them up a little bit, or does it do anything, you think, or
No,
it wasn't
just,
was taking starch off or anything like that?
I suppose this old grandma conserves water, you know, and thinks, well, you can wash more potatoes
Yeah.
at one time than one at a time. This is kind of a waterless cooker a little bit. You don't cover your potatoes, do you?
I don't do potatoes that much, so no, I don't think, you know,
I want the water for the donuts, so I can put a little bit more.
yeah, that's the best burner there.
Got some in the bag, and
Oh,
there's more in there than I think.
That's right. We do more salt too. I've been reading something about potato water and using it for baking, and they were
It
talking
used
about
to
how
be, I always saved the for bread making. Always have. Mother always, of course, then they covered the potatoes with water
Mhm.
to boil them, so that when you really get kind of cheap potato water.
Mhm.
Now I want a bowl to put the potatoes in.
Okay.
We have one, I have one that was the kind that we're used to. It's a round, and it's a round one, and it's got a cup will slip out of there. And it was an old one, so it was painted. The handles were painted on it. When Grandma died, well, then she had an aluminum one that was nice and shiny, and I thought, oh well, I'll take that. I didn't want an initial, but I thought, that's brand new and nice and shiny. And I've rice with it a few times, and then it were too hard. But I had to go back, and I had given my other one away. So I had to go back and start looking for one, the old kind.
Mhm.
I had never seen anything like this. And this yours really is nice.
Yeah, it's kind
Matches
of.
them all the way down.
I'm not sure why they always rice the potatoes for lefse, but I suppose it makes
But you
it.
get the lumps out.
Uh-huh.
Before when we first started making, we didn't use rice. You know, it was supposed to we started making for Lutheran League Church, and I saw somebody use them there, and I started that too. Well, they used rice potatoes just for eating, just for making it a little bit more elite, I guess you'd say.
Mhm.
Well, I think we'll have that so that kids can have some to eat.
Yep. It's probably kind of bad. Here I sit and record you and make you do all the work. So.
Oh, it isn't work really. I hope Beulah makes hers with mashed potatoes, doesn't she?
With the potato
I
buds,
mean
yeah.
potato buds.
Yep. Yeah, because great-grandma Erstedt started doing that. I don't know when. I mean, towards the end there, she started using that, and so Beulah decided to do that, and I guess Grandpa Erstedt, being really traditional about everything else, thinks that potato buds is the way to go. Because this real potato stuff is just too much work. So I don't know. I always do it with real potatoes. Plus, then I usually use cream and butter because I figure, heck, if you're going all the way with these things, just go all the way.
Elaine Corey makes them with potato buds. Or, yeah, she's a perfectionist. But they like Grandpa Gordy, and it's tradition.
Yep.
Tradition. Sometimes the tradition has to take a sidestep if you're gonna. Sometimes you just don't have time for all that.
Yep.
And I suppose that's what Betty Crocker's along for. Help out in the kitchen.
Well, really, this stuff doesn't take that long. Making the potatoes to begin with, and then well, it takes a while to fry the whole stuff up. I guess bake it all. So.
If a person plans ahead, well, you just do it, and when you have time, have them ready for whenever you want. Like I say, being grandma what she is, she can work the potatoes after that. Tasting the potatoes. This make more work sometimes than you're worth. Well, I suppose if we were to measure and they'd tack down a little bit, I think that it would look like that. Now they're saying the butter isn't as bad as they thought it was.
Yeah.
Margarine's got something that's not good. So, I guess like they always said, just do things in moderation. Oh, the bears are going to come look, see, the kitty.
That's a puppy.
Oh, that's a puppy. I thought it was a...
Bear, bear.
Well, how come you put him on the chair? You can't see anything from the chair. See?
But else do I get dirty?
So usually put about 1 stick for 8 cups.
I'm thinking, what is
something
it?
like that.
That and I just figured out.
What?
Well, I do have a recipe.
You've got a recipe someplace that says.
Yeah. It seems like, yeah, second here.
You just lick it on your fingers? No?
The recipe says 8 cups of mashed potatoes, 1 cup of evaporated milk or cream, and half a pound of butter.
Give me some.
Half a
Give me
pound of
some.
butter.
Give me some. Give me some.
I guess you go 2 sticks to 8 cups.
Give me this.
You want some of that?
On my fingers.
On your
Well,
fingers.
maybe you can stick your finger in the box when it's all gone, because there'll still be a little bit left. You can touch your finger on it if you still want.
No.
So have you ever used just leftover mashed potatoes to make it then?
Are you guys making Lefse?
Yes, and Jan.
Stuff for
Okay.
Lefse.
So, do you ever use just regular leftover mashed potatoes, or
Yeah,
I'll put
yeah, I
this
do. Now, how much cream was that?
I'll
cup.
put this
A cup?
in.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, you yeah, I do this, used to do that, yeah. Oops, I was gonna, then I move the bowl a little bit, and put it on that side. Yeah, that was, and I think that's when the old timers started it out, well, maybe they started as a project, but I would guess that they had
Yeah.
leftover potatoes, so that I wonder if you could use them up.
Yeah. See, when I was in Norway, we made a thing called a lumpa, and it was really thick lefse, and it was with potatoes and flour, and it was probably, I mean, more than a quarter of an inch thick.
My finger won't fit in there.
And then they said that traditionally you put it on like the hearth of the fire, or just like, or the mantle, or someplace where it would really slowly kind of bake up. And then they ate it with syrup, kind of a corn syrup, kind of molasses like stuff.
Maybe I can open
I mean, really,
the good to the last drop, huh?
I mean, really, what you're making here is just kind of mashed potatoes. I mean, a little richer, I suppose, than usual, but
That's right. I mean, of course, I wouldn't, for the table, we wouldn't put that much butter and cream
yeah,
on, but
yeah,
so that's why I say when they made them from the table, potatoes from the table, they really weren't, didn't have a lot of extras in them.
yeah.
Hey, butter and milk, butter and milk.
We got
Oh my goodness, you're looks like you've been in the cream can. You've been in the cream can.
Yes, I am. Hey, yanking it there.
So really, all you do though is mix this stuff in, right?
Right.
Melt the butter and mix the cream in, so you just got mashed potatoes.
So, have dinner first, and have some potatoes, and then we'll cook it up, huh?
No, that's a...
Well, you'd rather have lefse than potatoes for dinner, huh? So if we have potatoes for dinner, I'm waiting for that butter to finish melting. You would not eat potatoes for dinner, so that you could have more lefse, huh? Well, now, are those all melted? Look, there goes one. Well, now when they use potato buds, they mix the potatoes as they would normally, I suppose, huh? I think.
Somewhere, I think we have a recipe for that, or I mean, I think that you're just replacing the potato buds for your potatoes, and I mean, I suppose it really isn't that much different because.
There's a few little black specks in here, but that's the ice from the potatoes.
Oh, that's okay. Right.
Right. See, they used to, when they started ricing potatoes, they boiled the potatoes with jackets on, and then the thin rice and the peeling would get left in the. They figured they got all the vitamins out of the peelings that way. Here, you want to lick this spoon, Andrea? Yep. Gonna leave a little bit on there.
Yes, got it.
Yes. There. There and there.
Then you just
Should smell like ice cream.
you cover it up and refrigerate it then,
Yeah.
just until
Yep.
until it's cold, I suppose.
Yep.
Chill all the way through.
They
And,
should be cold and they don't take as much flour.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I suppose you could put them in there and cover them up better.
Well, we've got some plastic there in the drawer we can do so. And Grandma's gonna make some donuts while we wait
Pull it.
Okay.
for the lefse to chill and everything.
3/4 and 3/4. That's a cup and a half.
It's in the potato water.
I read a story about baking bread. I don't know if it was an article in the magazine or what, but anyhow. But They used to take their frustrations out on the bread. If they get, whoop, I guess we don't need it hardly anymore. Just a little dusty. Yeah,
Okay, Andrina, that's enough. How about if you need, no, Andrina, you need now. Yep, put your hands in the little balls. There you go.
Anyhow, the lady that was writing it, she was telling about her own time, and she
Yeah.
can sort of,
Give me it, I can do it.
okay. Taking her frustrations out, her daughter had called in later on, and we each having trouble, and so we'll make some bread. Knead it out. Because I guess we never thought about that. We used to do it as a, we're getting away from where we got flour, so we get
I
stuff
can
in
do
it.
it
I thought maybe you were going to dump it on the floor.
now.
Then your little doggy would have.
Okay, and the potatoes have chilled here, actually for a day or so. Probably not quite so long, but I suppose until they get good and cold. We got the griddle over there warming up, and Grandma's actually measuring part out because we're not sure we'll get the whole thing redone this evening. So,
I want to mix the flour in. When you get to mix the flour in, then you got to about get it done because I don't know. I've never left it, but they always said, well, you can't let it sit with the flour, so don't let it sit with the flour.
Yeah.
3 cups. If I put one more, then that'll be about half of it, huh?
yeah, I think we started with about 8 cups or so, which I think is about a normal batch according to the recipe we've got.
Like these TV cooks do, you put everything away when you get done. When you're at Grandma's house, you don't do that. Show what kind of flour we're using too. We're using a quarter of this flour. How about that? In Minnesota. 4 cups of that. I know you don't use very much flour. I have to look at Richard's recipe.
Okay, so we checked the recipe. It's about 2 cups of the potatoes to 1 cup of flour.
I put a little dash of sugar in, do you, or not?
I haven't usually put sugar in with this.
I think
But,
Elaine Corey puts in a dash of sugar so that it gets a little bit browner. Well, now I can just wipe my hands. I didn't wash my hands, so that's alright. Besides, you'll get sterilized when you get on the grill.
Anyway, Andrina fell down, so she's kind of put her legs. So you just kind of knead it in.
Kneading in the flour, you know.
So how do you tell when it's?
Now, when the flour is, when it isn't sticky anymore, I could do this on that other thing, couldn't I? I'm messing everything up.
Oh, that's okay. I guess I usually end up kneading it on the counter and use that thing for rolling. I don't know why, but
Well, I don't know for sure what the going rule is. Maybe Ralph and Rich can tell you just as well as I can, but it isn't sticky anymore and you don't, or maybe got a little bit, well, I didn't use a full 2 cups, but, or did I? How many cups did I put? How many cups did I put?
I don't remember.
I think I just put in,
I know you
maybe
put.
I just put in,
You
maybe
put a
I
cup
short
in
flour yet.
there? I know you put in 2 before you checked the recipe. So I mean, it seems like it shouldn't really be sticky at all.
No, it shouldn't.
But
I might have been skimmed, I might have just gone to,
I know you don't want to
Okay.
put too much in either. To get I don't know what happens if you put too much in. You know?
it just gets tough.
Uh-huh.
I think it's like anything else. I guess it just doesn't bite off as good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it'll stick together good here. Well, now why'd you come apart? No, I didn't know. Did you have?
And you just kind of make it into a tube, kind of.
Yeah. When it started, I didn't watch anybody make Lefse, just kind of done it on my own. And I left it in a ball like this here and then pinch off one every time. I got to be kind of messy. This way you can cut it up and have it ready to, it's ready for going. If you pinch off a ball, then you gotta get it all shaped up right. And get it all
Yeah, no, I've tried that and it works well. It's cutting slices off, and you kind of even start off with a circle for rolling and stuff. It seems to work well. I remember the time when I went with you to do it for, I think, All Nations at the church, and you had all the people, the ladies who had done it for a long time. It was kind of interesting to watch all their techniques and their.
Everybody has their own little something that makes it their own. Right now, Clarence Gustafson's goal, the quarries, the men go along and turn it for him. And Olga Griffith was. Of course, when Larson was there, he was half of the crew there.
Well, Grandpa used to turn for you, didn't he?
Yep. He turned. Yeah, he turned a lot. Because when we made a lot of it, and we got toward the end, he said, "Well, it must be getting quitting time because that rolling pin is clattering a lot." He said, "It must be you're getting tired of it."
Well, I remember your turner stick that was the stick out of the window shade in the kitchen there.
That's right. Well, when we started making Lefse, they were, well, not right when we started, but later they said we use the lids off of Maytag washing machines. They're flat.
For frying, or?
For frying, for the pan, you know.
Huh.
And with a gas grill that worked, gas oven stove that worked good. So I guess you don't have to, if you've got a big enough frying pan or one that's got low enough edges, or even a pancake grill or a griddle or something, if you don't have to be a Lefse grill.
Well, the first time I made it was in an electric frying pan, but the problem was the sides were so high.
Yeah, it's hard.
It was hard to get it out. Plus, at that point, I wasn't using a pastry cloth too, and everything was sticking, and it was a kind of a problem.
I think that'll be okay. And keep them cold so they don't get.
Like, part of the trick seems to be keeping that stuff cold so it doesn't stick as much. So, got a chunk of the mixed up stuff here. And we got the pastry cloth, which really works wonders, I think. Don't use nearly as much flour. Doesn't stick. You used to always have to wipe off the griddle with the cloth to keep it from getting all the burnt flour on the griddle, and this keeps that off.
Rich convinced me of that. I always thought, well, what I had was okay, but and I did get one of these, and they really do make it nice. See, he's got a different kind of a rolling pin than I have. Not that his is more right, but I just got what I had, what we could.
Well, there are kind of two kinds though. There's this kind here that has just the grooves in it, and then there's the other ones that are kind of more of a checkerboard. And I don't know if there's really what the difference is.
I imagine that those that, I think Leona Erickson or somebody that says, well, one kind is for flatbread and one kind is for Lefse, so I don't know. But sometimes you just have to pretend you know it. Yeah.
But like the flat stick like that works really good for turning and stuff there too.
Fancy there. Well, this one didn't come out perfectly.
Well, usually the first one seems like it's got a hole in it, or it's yeah, they get better as they go. It seems like.
You have to make some that'll be.
So we got the griddle up about all the way. I think it should be
Does the light have to come, or
500.
the light goes off? It's
Light
on?
goes off when it's on, and I think you roll it out. I mean, yeah, like you can usually see through. See the red through there when it's done.
I don't know if I'm putting these on. I probably should
Yeah.
have somebody else televise Rich putting them on.
No, that's about it. If you let it sit for just a second, then it gets cooked enough that you can pull it off again. But usually, once you get the timing right, I mean, when I did it, I could roll. If you stop part way to turn, then you can get, by the time you get the next one rolled out, the other one's done. So, okay. So as they cook, they kind of bubble up some. I don't know, I mean, it seems like right at first when you hit the griddle, they stick a lot, so they get folded over. If you just let it sit for a second, then it bakes it so it isn't as sticky there. But you don't want to overcook them, they dry out bad. Yeah, if you go, yeah, the grill has to be hot, and you have to kind of not overdo it here. So this one looks like it's ready to turn. And so then it's turned over. Again, hot griddle so it doesn't dry it out and not too long. Although, I mean, I know some people like darker spots, don't they?
Yeah, I think we talked about that last time we were at dinner at your folks, and one like that is the mussels that we were there for. And she had left that last line Grandma had brought, and she said Gordy likes to have it a little bit darker, and she doesn't. And I said, well, I would like to have it lighter, and I always thought he baked her too light. So.
Yeah, if you kind of roll it out from under the stick like you were just doing there, it seems like that works well too.
I really do think it'd be better if I knew how to run the camera on Rich was doing this. I'm sure they can run the camera on Rich.
Seems to me like part of making Lefse is the smell too. That's kind of the potato-y smell or what it is.
Rich, how about if you roll it and I watch you?
Okay.
Now we're in tree place. Let Rich do this now. We'll get Shirley in here too.
Well, they're trying one of the first pieces here.
Okay.
Getting it while it's still warm, and it's kind of interesting too, because it seems like then the edges are still a little crunchy and stuff. You like it, Maddie?
Okay.
Butter and sugar.
Roll it. Now, where's the butter mark? Right on your finger, huh?
This is my hat. No, not
Do you think your sister is awake? She wants some yet, or did she go to sleep?
She's napping. I think I could take a hat.
So good, Maddie?
Yes, very good.
You gonna narrate?
Well, rolling it out now. That one. That one's buttered, or is that one anything?
No, it's not buttered.
Oh, so okay. We were discussing cooling too. I usually put it in one pile to cool off first, and get most of the heat off, and then stack it up. And even sometimes once they get a little dry, they get a little more moist. The steam almost does them. So now I'm just trying to get it thin enough. starts to stick, especially with the cloth. Right, if you keep turning it over, then you don't really have to put flour on it. And then you can kind of see through it. Just about ready. And that's about it. And like I said, if you get the timing right, before when I do this, I could get one piece rolled while the other one was frying there. How do you know when to turn them? Do you? I mean, I usually bubbles, and if it's like here, it's getting a little bit golden around the edges.
Yeah.
But it's kind of surprising. It's pretty tough stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
unless it gets folded over and stuff. But for now, we'll pick it up with a stick and throw it around here. This one's about done. I wouldn't have gotten that tear in. Pretty exciting stuff here. Fast paced.
Now Maddie will show us how to eat it.
Is that your job, Maddie?
No.
You've kind of been eating it as fast as we make it here. I haven't even had any yet.
More.
Please. Ooh, you can smell it. Baking. I think that's going to be this one. So how many of these do you make for a year, Grandma?
Well, new butter. Excuse me.
Sugar.
Hi there. Okay. Yeah, that should be okay.
Can you explain it while you're doing it, Maddie? What are you doing?
First, you have to make your lefse.
Okay. You putting the butter on?
Yep.
And then what?
Put some sugar.
Where are you putting it all when you go in the other room?
And
Then what do you do?
then you roll it up.
Look on your head, didn't I?
And then you can eat it.
Good job.
What do you do with it though when you go in the other room? Did you always come back empty?
I come back to get some more, that's fine.
Oh.
I'll do this.
Get that one there. Like that.
Ooh, this is coming up hot.
You think it is?
It is.
How does it feel?
Ropes.
Does it feel like it's going to be...
It could come off like that.
No, it could, couldn't it?
Could.
How does it feel? Does
Good.
it feel like Lefse yet?
No,
No?
because it's not made like that's yet.
No. Or does it feel like it's going to be
I can
alright?
roll it out for you.
You could.
Mama.
I'll bet you could. I'll bet you could.
Oops. from the party.
Uh-oh. Then what happened?
I'll roll it. I will, okay?
You will.
I will.
Andrina, how about if you wait a second here until we get... And you can maybe do a little bit, okay? Because it gets kind of sticky.
That should be in here.
Let's roll it in the flour here.
But get some flour in the rolling pin. It's not going to stick as much.
Okay.
When we made it last time, it was too sticky.
Okay, Andrina.
Okay.
But only when Papa will
Yep.
get flat on that
Okay.
on this side.
Andrina, don't push quite so much with the rolling pin. You just kind of let the rolling pin, just let it rest on the left side, okay?
That last.
Yep.
I got to do a little bit to make the lines in it.
You know, when we filled out the applications for Maddie and then again for Andrina to go to kindergarten, one of the questions, they ask you what kind of food they eat,
Oh.
they like, and then they go have bread and they, you know, all kinds of bread and tortilla and pitas and everything, but they also have Lefse,
For goodness sake.
so you can tell you're in Minnesota.
Oops, it's going to stay too left. It's never going to change. Dad, Dad, can you call me?
So I know I asked you yesterday before I had to run off, how many Lefses you make for Christmas?
I think our peak season in Clipper's here, what did we use, 150 pounds of potatoes?
150 pounds.
But then we made them like crazy back here.
Boy, so how many do you get? I mean, do you know how many you get out of 10 pounds or anything like that?
Let's see, I used to figure out what you used to get from 10 pounds. Used to cook that one kettle full of potatoes, and that was probably about 10 pounds. And I wouldn't dare say no. I mean, forget about these things. But my favorite thing about making Lefse was when it was the first year Clifford was gone and Ollie's were home for Christmas. We had gone to midnight church and come home. And thought we'd make some Lefse. Josh was turning. And he'd turn him and he'd eat him. He'd turn him and eat him. Raleigh was standing by the door. I see he was kind of grinning up. I don't know how many Josh had eaten, but after a while he says, well, Josh, do you suppose somebody else would like some of them? Oh, I thought about that. He likes the Lefse too, I like when somebody.
So did you have Lefse when you were a kid then?
No. We ate it at Tui's maybe, and Sophus had lived across where Dennis Peterson lives. And probably had it there occasionally, but never enough to really develop a good taste. But we had lutefisk a lot. Folks both like that. I don't know what I suppose we ate. Flatbread or something with it. I mean, Mother always made a lot of flatbread, but the flatbread is different than the Norwegian flatbread.
Yeah, you meant the kind of low round loaves.
So those little those thin loaves.
Yeah, but you kind of flatten them out, and
Yeah.
but it's still that's just kind of regular bread dough, isn't it?
Yeah, that's regular bread. Let's see if I can put this on like you did.
We were discussing techniques for putting it on the griddle there, so I found if you put it on there, you can roll it off the stick, and it seems like that works.
Different techniques, and that's it. Try it. And I'm just going to try everything, see if it's quite what you like or not.
Well, I know there's lots of different kinds of turners too. The one that Mom uses is one that I think Great Grandma Erstead used, but it's a fairly thick piece of wood, and it's a little. I mean, there isn't really a top or a bottom to it, and it's got it's tapered down on the edges. Actually, you can see where there's old nail holes in it from where they took it off or something. But it seems to work for.
You gave me the one for Christmas one year, and then Rosella had been to, had gotten I don't know, 3 or 4 of them at Signe Jensen's sale, so then she gave me one. That's I think that one is thicker too, I think.
See, I made this one here just because I thought I wanted to be able to slide under stuff and be almost like a spatula, because it seemed like sometimes
you
I had
made
problems.
these?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Where in the world did you make them at?
Oh, I just whittled down
Yeah.
a piece of
Yeah,
wood.
right.
Yeah. Yep. But the made it really flat on one side and kind of curved on the other, so it would slide under better. Because I know before sometimes you'd have to take a spatula and kind of try to scrape stuff off. I thought, well, if I make this flat enough, it'll just work. And when you're done now, we've frozen it. Seems to keep pretty well. I don't know if you have any other ideas.
No, it's best to freeze it, because it does need to put it in the refrigerator. You get it all in.
Yeah.
It's waste time.
Well, it seems like you can get tough too if it sits out too long. We've frozen it and taken it out and just let it thaw, and afterwards, and it's still nice and pliable and everything. Now, our biggest problem is freezing it, having something big enough to freeze it in. You can't really freeze it flat, and if you fold it, then sometimes it gets cracks in the middle, but it's kind of.
Make them, they'll fit in that big Ziploc bag, huh?
Well, they'll fit in a gallon Ziploc bag if you fold them in half. But Tupperware should make a container big enough to stack Lefse in and have it made. So what are you doing?
Eating Lefse.
Do you like Lefse?
Yeah.
What do you like best about it?
Eating it.
Eating it, huh? It tastes good?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad the grandma made Lefse for you?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Kind of special, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Wow. Can you say goodbye?
Goodbye.